Welcome to another edition of Jet Setting. It's Scott Billeck with Ken Wiebe, both with the Winnipeg Sun. Kenny, we're just wrapping up the month of January here. The Jets got a big win on Thursday, 4-3 against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and went 8-4 in the month of January. What did you see from this team this month, and just kind of as they're kind of coming to their own down the stretch here?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the Jets are having some solid efforts. They're able to get some results. I think sometimes it hasn't been pretty, but as Paul Maurice mentioned, no style points in the NHL. I think the most important thing for them is that they're finding a way to win, even in nights when they don't have their best or their A effort, if you will. They're 6-3 against playoff teams. I know earlier in the year the narrative was the Jets can't win against those top playoff teams. They could only beat up on the bottom feeders. They're sort of putting that narrative to rest. They've got solid contributions throughout the lineup. They're not just getting carried by the top line right now. Their second power play unit is going with Jack Roslovic scoring the other night, and they're finding a way to win in the third period when they're coming from behind, which is another sign of a team that is learning how to win. I mean, that's something the Jets had to learn the last couple of years, and now they're putting that into practice a little bit more frequently.
Big part of those, third period comebacks, at least recently, has been the play of Kyle Connor. He scores 2 goals against Boston to bring them back, and then they win the shootout with his winner. And then here on Thursday, he scores the game winner late with 1:14 left in the third period. What's going right with him? Brian Little talked about him having the hot hand or the hot stick, as he put it. What's going right for Kyle Connor at the moment?
Just feeling really confident. I mean, this is a guy who has a great shot. We know he's got speed, and he's able to sort of get some things working on the forecheck. I mean, Thursday's goal is a classic example of a line change. He comes onto the ice. Brian Little wins a battle in the corner and gets it out in front. It's on his stick, and before Sergei Bobrovsky can even move, it's already past him. 2 quick straight goals against the Boston Bruins, and he's just feeling it right now. And I think the impressive thing to me, Scott, is his consistency level. A lot of young players that can go through long, dry spells, and for Connor, he went through a stretch where he got bumped off that top line, but with the injury to Nikolaj Ehlers, he's able to get bumped back up onto the unit with Scheifele and Wheeler. And those 3 guys really enjoy playing together, and Paul Maurice has said it. He's earned that spot on that top line, and he's been one of the most productive forwards of late with 9 goals and 13 points in the last 11 games. It's been a pretty impressive run for Kyle Connor, especially at 5-on-5.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Kyle, Paul Maurice talked about opportunities and taking that, and he always seems to quote Kevin Dineen, who said, you don't know when you have an opportunity until you don't have it, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a weird quote, but Kyle Connor is basically that example of that, and he's he lost the opportunity a little bit, and now he's brought it back again.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, Paul Maurice originally said it was because Connor has had the ability to drive his own line, but I mean, that line with Brian Little and Patrick Laine went a little bit cold for a while, but Paul Maurice has always liked the chemistry between Little and Connor, which is why he often plays them together in overtime. So, I mean, they recreated a bit of that magic here, but definitely for Connor, he does appreciate the fact that he's up on that top line. I mean, when you get separated, sometimes you appreciate it even more. Not like you didn't appreciate it before, but I mean, sometimes a little bit of time apart can certainly help get that chemistry back going, and I think that's what we've seen from that line of late.
Speaking of time apart, the Jets have been without Dustin Byfuglien. They've been without Nikolaj Ehlers. A little bit of good news, I guess, on at least on the Dustin Byfuglien front. And he's now day-to-day with that lower body injury, the ankle injury that he suffered back in December. And then Nikolaj Ehlers, at least a week away still after his injury that he suffered at the beginning of this month. The Jets are going into this trade deadline season, but they're going to get 2 big pieces of their roster back when these guys become healthy again.
Yeah, I mean, for Dustin Byfuglien, obviously, he was playing at an almost Norris Trophy level. At least he would have been in the conversation. I mean, they've missed him now for quite some time, and they've been able to sort of fill his minutes by committee. Obviously, we know Josh Morrissey and Jacob Trouba are playing a lot, but Tyler Myers is getting a few more minutes. Now Ben Sherratt is back from injury, his second game back. I really like the progression of Sami Niku while he was back in the lineup. Joe Morrow is staying in the lineup right now, but obviously when you get a top guy like Dustin Byfuglien back, that'll give the back end a boost. And then up front, I mean, the Jets are essentially adding a top 6 forward without giving up anything going into the deadline. We expect they will add another forward before February 25th, but Ehlers just gives them that that dynamic speed, that electricity, and he was really playing well before he got hurt. So that's obviously another big boost for the Jets when he does come back, probably closer to the middle of the month.
February is going to be a busy month for the Jets, and obviously with trade deadline coming up, so look forward to that. It's been another edition of Jet Setting. For Ken Wiebe, it's Scott Billeck. Thanks for watching.